When Super Mario Bros. Wonder initially was shown in that first Direct in June, I was intrigued by it. But now that we've gotten a much better look with the Super Mario Bros. Wonder Direct, I gotta say that I'm a lot more excited for this game. And today, I'm gonna tell you all the reasons why I am excited for Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Before we get into the specifics about what I like about the game, I just want to let you guys know that in the description, I'm going to be putting the links to all of the footage that I got for this video. So if you want to see all of the things that I got for this and obviously not hear my voice through it, feel free, go check them out in the links below. So with all that being said, enjoy the video. The first thing that we got to talk about are the graphics. The first thing that stood out to me when I initially saw this game were the graphics. I think that we can all agree that looking at New Soup for the DS, New Soup Wii, New Soup 2, New Soup Wii U, New Soup Luigi, they all look the same. But now in this game, the graphics, the expressions, everything just looks so much better. The best way I can describe it is that the game is a feast for your eyes. Everything looks really good in it. All of the characters are so expressive. Even some of the most mundane things as jumping or running, they have more expression in them than the entirety of the older 2D Mario games from like the Wii U era. And I just have to say that I am very happy that they decided to take these characters and make them use expressions. Next, let's talk about the enemies. They showed off a good amount of new enemies. Whether it's the Hoppy Cats, the Condarts, the Conks, or hell, the Vor guys. Because apparently in Mario Land, we can't have video games come out with it unless it has some sort of creature that will Vor everybody. But going back to it, I'm glad they gave us new enemies. Obviously, it's a brand new kingdom. We're in the Flower Kingdom. We're not in the Mushroom Kingdom anymore. But they could have very easily just been like, Bowser brought all of his minions to the new kingdom, and now they're here to do their thing. We could have had our usual Koopa, Goomba, Lakitu, Spike, and all the normal things. Cheep Cheeps, Dry Bones. But they integrated some of the old with the new. But even then, with some of the old characters, they also have some redesigns as well. The main ones that I've seen were the Koopa Troopa with the roller skates. And there's two different types of piranha plants other than the ones that obviously just like will pop their head out and then go back into the pipe. We have piranha plants that will spit out melon seeds towards you. And then we have some piranha plants that will jump out of the pipe and chase you. Whether or not these enemies are fun to deal with or very annoying to deal with, it's just nice that we have variety, that we don't have the same 10 enemies that we're going to see every single time. And I will say that I'm going to guess, obviously, I'm not 100% certain, but I'm going to guess that we're going to have some sort of boss at the end of every single area / world or whatever they're going to specifically go with. And I think this will be the first time in a long while that we'll have a 2D Mario game where the final bosses of the worlds are not Koopalings. Could they still be Koopalings, but maybe they're like juiced up like we see Bowser Jr.? Maybe. But even then, if they are juiced up, I still think that's better than just them, but again, and looking the exact same. But of course, we won't know that until we actually get the game ourselves, or maybe they show it off in what I'm going to assume is a Direct sometime in this month. Next up, we're going to talk about the characters. I gotta say, I'm amazed that we have 12 total characters. It was one thing to get 4 characters and then at some point 5 characters. That's something. But now we're gonna get 3 times the amount of characters that you'll actually need to play the game if you do it with 4 people. Now, some people will be upset that most of the characters control exactly the same, but if that gives us more variety of characters to use, I'm okay with that. Like, if they made this game where it was only 4 characters, it was Mario, Luigi, Peach, and a Toad, but they all control the exact same, yeah, that would suck. But they gave us Daisy, they gave us Toadette, they gave us 2 different Toads, they gave us Blue Toad. We thought they were taking away Blue Toad, we still got Blue Toad. And all those characters will play the same, and I'm okay with that. But we do have to talk about something that's a little disappointing, in a way that I feel like they could fix it. I know they won't, but they could. Yoshi and Nabbit being the easy mode sucks. Obviously, ever since he was playable, Nabbit has been easy mode. Fine, whatever, you want to make him easy mode, do that. But I feel like it would be a much better option if instead of doing that, you make it to where you could choose if you want these characters to be the easy mode. Maybe you still have it set to where it's only the Yoshis and Nabbit, but if you want to play them normally to where you can get hit, you can die instead of just falling into a pit or lava, shit can happen to you, then let us do that. Because I can guarantee there were a lot of people who saw that Yoshi was playable and they got really excited, but then they heard that he's basically for babies, and then it kind of just mellowed out for them that, oh, I can play as him, but he's easy. It's easy. It's not hard. It doesn't get hit. But still, when it comes to the characters, I am happy that we do have a ton of them. We do have new characters as the Yoshis, and we have Daisy for the first time. So I'm excited, and I hope that this is something that they continue to do in the future with 2D Mario games, instead of, hopefully, the next one they don't just go back to being like 4 characters. Next up, let's talk about the levels and the areas. The levels in this game look really good. While I was watching all of the stuff that I could for this, no level really looks similar to the last one. Each one had pretty much unique areas and level designs and enemy placements. You didn't really go into it and see, for the most part, and of course, yes, they're going to use areas from around the entire game, but it didn't seem like it was just the exact same background, the exact same environments, the exact same ground in multiple levels. And I think that coincides with the areas themselves. Like, even in just the first area, it's called Pipe Rock Plateau. It has your plateau areas, but it also has rocky areas. So we're going to see, for the most part, our usual level 1-esque areas, but then there could be a point where it just shifts into a completely new thing, but you're still in the first world or area. I think by having these double places, per se, because I think that's, for the most part, what they're going to go with for the main 6 or 7 areas, where you have Pipe Rock Plateau, you got your Fluff Puff Peaks, you got your Shining Falls. They're all going to have these 2 separate ideas put into one area, which I think is amazing. And if we're going to talk about the levels, we have to talk about how these levels have difficulties as well. While we don't know exactly how easy or difficult the game is going to be, it is nice to see that there are going to be some levels that are probably going to be difficult. The highest level that we've seen is 4 stars, but it wouldn't shock me if it goes up to 5 stars, just because I feel like that makes it more even. It feels a little off to have the 4 star as your highest difficulty instead of either a 3 or a 5 star. But yeah, when it comes to actually getting the game, I do hope that there is a good amount of like 2, 3, and 4 star missions and levels, instead of there being like half of the levels being a 1 star and then the other half being from 2 to 5 or something like that. I hope that we do get a good amount of difficult levels and that really make us work. That I don't want this to be baby's first Mario. I really don't want it to be that, and I really hope it isn't. When I'm done playing this game, I want to cry. That's what I want, and I hope it gives it to me. Now we're going to talk about probably the most controversial thing, being the online. I can say that I was probably like everybody else when the online showed up. We got the local co-op. Everybody was playing together. Everything looked correct. Everything looked right. And then it went to online. There's the first news about hearing online for this game, and all you see are people's shadows. Well, that's okay. Interesting, but not what we want. Then they show off the heart points, which we still don't even know what they do, or if they do anything at all. Then you can put the standees in the level so you can help people if they're at a specifically hard location. But then we finally got the friends. I can speak for myself as I was very excited as soon as I saw friends. But then you can only play with the people being shadows still. But you couldn't play the normal way like in local co-op where you can see everybody normally and you can only do it with ghosts. Guaranteed, you could do it with 12 people and you could race with your friends in specific levels by hitting a specific block, but you weren't really playing with them. You were just sharing the same level. You weren't interacting with each other, or you weren't doing things like you used to. But then I saw that in local co-op, you already can't interact with each other. You just share the screen, which sucks. I will say it sucks. But if you're already not able to interact with each other that way, I think I'm okay with it. And one of the reasons why I'm okay with it is dependent on how the game will work when we actually get to play with friends. I don't think they went over exactly what I'm about to say. They might have, and if they did, let me know. But something that I thought of is you can technically, if you wanted to, play through the game and or race through the game with your friends this way. I don't know if the max amount of people in a level has to be 4 or if it's just for the race. If the maximum amount of people is the entire room, then you can have it to where you have all of your friends, whether it's anywhere from you and a friend all the way up to the 12 people, in one lobby together. You start at the very beginning and you can race your friends or viewers or whoever, family members. Maybe you find random people in a Discord. I don't know. But you take it and then you race them and you make it into a fun competition. That's my thinking on this. Instead of looking at like, oh, this sucks, I can't do this. Well, now I can't do that, but instead I can do this. And I think this will be a lot more fun. That is my thinking. But yeah, I initially was very down on the online aspect, but now that I think about it actually, I think it could work very well if you like sort of the same things that I like. Obviously, if you really don't care about that, then yeah, obviously the online isn't really great in your mind, but I still think that it's okay, and maybe one day, probably won't, but maybe one day we'll get an update where they will actually allow us to share the screen with friends, but we will see in due time. Now, the last few that we're going to talk about, in my opinion, are the most important things for this game. And we're going to start off with the badges. Holy crap, do I think badges are going to change how I think about 2D Marios and make them better. This mechanic is why I think they made it to where all of the characters play the same. This way you can use the badges to imitate the ways that characters used to play in the past. You got the parachute hat that is somewhat like Peach's floating. You got the high floating jump, which is like Luigi. There is a lot of really interesting things here with those two. You got the dolphin kick. You got the vine that you can shoot and become fucking Spider-Man. You got the really high jump that was in the old school Mario games, which I think was Super Mario Bros. 2, if I remember correctly. There's a lot of interesting things here. You got ones that can protect you if you happen to do a really stupid jump. If you use it, that means you're admitting that you suck at the game, but you can do it. And you even got ones that are inconvenient to you by making you completely invisible. And of course, we don't even know all of them yet. So I think that alone can make the game a lot more interesting and a lot more replayable. Because if you really want to, you can sit there and play the game by using only one badge for a specific run, or you can use all the badges, or you can split up the badges, or you can use no badges if you really want. And that helps the replayability. So yeah, I think the badges are a really good idea, and after seeing them, I was enthralled. I was super happy about it, and I can't wait to try them out. Next, we're going to talk about the new items. Of course, we have our returning mushroom, fire flower, star power, and I'm sure there's going to be a few more items, old and new. I would probably say we're going to see like 1 or 2 old and new items come into the mix by the time we obviously get the game in our hands. I highly doubt they would show every single item right now. That's just my thinking. But of course, we got to talk about the new items. First off, they showed the elephant, which everybody and their mother thought that Mario was going to be an elephant and that everybody else was going to be some different variation of an animal. And then we saw Elephant, Peach, and Daisy. I think enough is said about that. Everybody fucking lost their mind when they saw that shit. But the actual item itself really works interestingly. You got your normal attacks, you're super strong, you can break blocks just by hitting them. You didn't have to ground pound on them like you do with just normal Mario. And even then, on top of all of the other things that it does, you can take water into your trunk and use it to either douse enemies, douse flowers, douse specific places, so then like vines can grow, shit like that, and probably a lot of secrets will be used in that kind of mechanic. So yeah, that power-up is pretty interesting. The next one they showed off was the bubble power-up, my personal favorite of the three. I think it's awesome that they gave us a power-up that can both work as a projectile and a platform. And even then, on top of being a projectile, it kills enemies that you normally couldn't kill with your normal items. And then moving on to the platforming aspect, you can reach, I'm going to guess, a good amount of areas that you normally will not be able to reach if you're just being your normal self, or hell, maybe even using the next item that we're going to be talking about. But yeah, I love the bubble, and I'm probably going to be using it a shit ton when I play this game. And of course, the last new item that they showed off was the drill. I will say though, aesthetic-wise, the drill makes the characters look the best. Every single character, when they got the drill item, looked fucking sick. I will always enjoy using them for that specific reason. Obviously, I think the item is very good because you can protect yourself from a lot of enemies that you normally couldn't protect yourself against in the past. Plus, you can attack hard specific areas to get your coins, your special items, your other thing that we'll talk about later, or very soon, I should say. And then, of course, you can bury yourself into the ground to literally just avoid the enemies in general. You can bury yourself into the ground, you can bury yourself into the fucking ceiling. You can just travel the world like that if you really wanted to. And even then, you can bury yourself and find secrets. Am I saying burrow? I mean to say burrow, but I'm excited talking about this. The more and more I talk about this, the more and more I want this game to come out. The next month is gonna suck for me. But yeah, these three new items look like they're going to make the game a lot more fun. So I'm very excited for them, and I'm gonna be using them a lot when I get the chance to. And the last thing that I want to talk about for today's video are the Wonder Powers. Oh my god, there seems to be a lot of them. The Wonder Seeds, the Wonder Power, the Wonder Flowers are going to be quite interesting when it comes to the actual gameplay of this game. They showed off so many different things. The pipes moving around, you got stampedes, you can blow up in a fucking balloon. In some of the footage that was not shown in the direct, you got a giant fucking clump. And even in some of the videos that were shown that weren't from the direct, you have this giant conch that will just sit there and smash the entire screen. There are so many different things. Hell, you can even transform into a fucking Goomba, all Super Mario Odyssey style. It just looks like there's going to be so many good things, so many unique things, and it'll make some of the levels interesting. This I didn't want to talk about in the levels, I wanted to wait until here, but it'll make some of the levels interesting because some of the levels you will be able to complete normally without the Wonder Seed, and then some with the Wonder Seed. Or I should probably say Wonder Flower there, because you get the Wonder Flower to get the Wonder Seed, but there will be some where you get the Wonder Flower and it'll change the whole thing where you'll just completely bypass the actual flag and go to a secret area. So in order to get all of the Wonder Seeds, you're probably going to have to play some levels 2 times, and I don't know if they'll do it, but it would be interesting to see if they make it to where maybe some levels you'll have to play 3 times. I don't know how they would work that, but again, it would help for replayability. But yeah, that is just about everything that I am excited for when it comes to Super Mario Bros. Wonder. There is so many things, and I am going to play the absolute living crap out of this game when it comes out. I am streaming this game night 1, minute 1, second 1. The second it allows me to play, I am playing it. I don't care if, like some games that I've waited for in the past, even if I have to wait for 3 to 5 hours, I don't care. I'm staying up and I'm playing it. But yeah, that's gonna end off this video. Let me know down in the comments below, what are you most excited for when it comes to Super Mario Bros. Wonder? I'd love to hear your thoughts. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope to see you all in the next one.